PayPal. Domino said, we got her. And so, came back and I gave Cora a nap. Right, okay, cool. Then I was like, okay, let me go slide up the street to go vote real quick, just to see who on the ballot, like, you know, the little voting methods and stuff. You know, like what's going on over there. That's how you know I haven't voted in a really long time, because I be forgetting. I had forgot that you can't just pop up anywhere where you want to vote. You gotta vote, you know, at your designated area. Unless, of course, you go down there to the you know, over there on Memorial. So
This is Navon Edge, the personal assistant for frequent business travelers. Navon Edge learns what you love down to the smallest details and finds your perfect flight, stay, or meal. How does it work? You just ask.
Hotel in NYC, May 3rd to 8th. Up to 5-minute walk to the office. Corner room with king, pillow top bed. Must have a desk.
If you one that ain't never tried Chick-fil-A,
Navon Edge remembers what you love, so you don't have to say it again.
Sweet.
Brownie.
What now?
All you have to say is,
Book it.
wait for it.
Let me go get this air conditioner off, because she's going to get me sleepy. Hold on. Oh, she's going to make me so sleepy. I'm going to get the yawning. And so, I wasn't able to vote because I was at the wrong place, so I wasn't able to vote. She had told me like where I was supposed to vote at, but tried to weigh my budget, how I had to budget my time during nap time while Cole was asleep. I was like, ooh, I ain't got time to be trying to swing over there nowhere else. I'm like, ooh, because I already had to go to Publix. All right. To fill up the water jugs. Child, for these baby turtles, Lord. Oh, God. And, of course, I had to go to the grocery store. I was out of eggs. I'm just saying. And so, I did that. Got back. I've been minding my business ever since. I was so tired. 6 o'clock came and I was like, ooh, I'm finna take a nap. And that's exactly what I just did. It was cold back there playing the whole time. Playing, laughing. Then he, you know, playing too much. Now he's shitty. I'm like, come on, man. Damn. Let me see what's going on with
Guys, happy Tuesday. At least we hope it's going to be a happy Tuesday. We all have our fingers crossed for Thomas Massie down in Kentucky. Let's go, Thomas Massie. We'll see what happens.
Let me see if they got the results. She already got me Thomas Massie. He lost. I don't know who is Gallarine, Ed Gallarine, whatever, but he lost. Thomas Massie lost. Didn't I just tell you, didn't I just say, look, please, Everybody with all these updates. I'm gonna go to AJC. Oconee County. Okay, who got Attorney General? Ryan Strickland. Bill Calcert. Uh-oh. Oh, Tanya Miller. It might be Tanya. Okay, Augusta Board of Commission. So I'm trying to figure out who got that governor. I really don't care about all the other stuff. Please give me that governor. All these Board of Education might. Let me get up out of here. Let me go to top races and see if you could just. Oh, they got like a little. Okay. The Senate. Okay, John Ossoff. Of course. Of course. Keisha Lance. Oh. 599. Okay. Okay, go to the Republican governor. Ooh. Uh-oh. So y'all trying to put Keisha in that spot. I know, but I would for some reason, I don't know why I thought Brad was gonna get it. Okay, who got lieutenant governor? McLaurin. Nabila. I don't know none of them. I ain't even heard of none of them. John Kennedy. I ain't even heard of him. Tanya Miller. Tanya. I saw her. She AG. Attorney General. Agricultural Commissioner. Insurance Commissioner. School Superintendent. OMG. Look at Keisha. Wow.
We got to start today with some sad news, some very sad news this morning, because we are still being ghosted by the White House. I don't know why. It seems very weird. White House press team does not want to respond about that email. Is it real? Yes or no? I'm hurting. I slept with Brigitte doll last night. That's what I do when I'm having a really bad day. It's okay, though, because what we've done is we have since filed an FOIA request for the relative White House Correspondents' Dinner emails. I think we're going to get lucky. Anyway, for today, we're not going to focus on that. Instead, we are going to bring you a conversation with the man, the myth, the legend, Victor Marx, gubernatorial candidate for Colorado. A fascinating guy, right? You got to just admit, he's fascinating. Another, dare I say, troubled faith leader tied to Turning Point USA. I mean, this could be the dawn of a new series. Fantastic pastors and where to find them. Welcome back to Candace.
Wait, how old is the new hire?
I don't know, but he literally uses Excel.
It's that commercial that reminds me of that music.
You must be the
That commercial. You right. Pause the music, Lord.
Okay, so we're not exactly bearing the lead. As I said, today we are going to be joined by Victor Marx, Colorado's gubernatorial candidate. But I want to at first provide you with a refresher about who he is and why I am interested in him. So, Victor Marx is very much a part of the Turning Point faith orbit. He is apparently extraordinarily close to Erica Kirk, right? So much so that he was the first that we could find to publicly announce that Charlie Kirk had passed away on September 10th on social media. I believe it was on Instagram. It was an hour and a half before the President of the United States made the announcement, even though he has since deleted that Instagram post. We then know that when Erica came home after bringing back Charlie's body in a casket aboard Air Force Two, Victor Marks and his wife Eileen were among the small circle of people who were welcomed into Erica's home to comfort her and to take photos of the grieving widow. Eventually, those photos were shared on the internet. Now, I am also informed that he presented her with a bulletproof car, transportation.
A bulletproof car. Remember what I said about those bulletproof cars. Always remember, because we live to learn from your mistakes. And so, if you spend all this money on a bulletproof car, you don't need to be getting out pumping your gas. Your rider, passenger seat, companion, whoever they're there, they need to get out. You can hold $20 out the window and somebody will pull up and somebody will walk up and to pump it for you. Don't spend all this money on getting no bulletproof car. And then you all out trying to get cookies at Makita's. Every time I hear a bulletproof car, I always think about Young Dolph. Why are you out the car? Why are you out the car trying to get cookies?
That in the Instagram post, getting her home, providing transportation to keep her and her children safe. So we can ask him about that. And shortly thereafter, Victor Marks announced that he was running for governor of Colorado, a calling that he felt came from God in the wake of Charlie's assassination. But who actually is Victor Marks? I'm getting old, you're getting old. Our memory is fuzzy. Let me give you a little bit of a recap. I've already told you his real name is Vaughn Victor Kennedy. That's his birth name, at least. And he has told a lot of stories about his childhood, namely surrounding his stepfather, Glois Dean Kennedy, abuse that he says that he endured at the hands of Glois, which that abuse began when Victor was just 3 years old. I'm going to show you more about what he says about that in a bit. What we do know about his stepfather is that Glois did serve in the Army doing counterintelligence. He then pled guilty to a conspiracy to running an international drug smuggling ring, marijuana out of Jamaica. Victor's brother, Mike Kennedy, also pled guilty as a co-conspirator, but he took a plea deal in exchange for testifying against his stepfather. Victor Marks's biological dad was Karl Marx. What a name. He was a pimp, a drug dealer, and a world-famous martial arts expert. I am told Victor Marx is, in fact, very good at martial arts, by the way. Now, in terms of his biological father spent time in a mental hospital for homicidal tendencies, something that Victor Marx has expressed that he has experienced as well during a period of his life. Victor's grandfather, I told you, killed his grandmother. So his grandfather killed his grandmother in a public murder-suicide. You're going to hear about Victor Marx's life. Some highlights, I would say, age 3, beheaded a cat. Age 7, Victor Marx killed his first person because his stepdad...
7? Oh, yeah. What they be saying about kids who be harming animals?
Told him to, by the time he was 17, he had lived in 17 homes and attended 14 schools, was involved with drugs, fights, and theft in high school. At 18, Victor joined the Marine Corps, served for 2 years before he was discharged. At 21, he says he found Jesus and he started attending Calvary Chapel Church.
I wonder what age were you when you found Jesus? What age were you when you found Jesus? It was way before 21, I can tell you that much. I'm like, ooh. 21. I mean, granted, you can find them at any age. I'm just saying. You can surely find him at any age. My thing is, the sooner the better, the earlier, the better. Allegedly. Maybe.
Favorite church. Fave. Right, 10 out of 10, Calvary Chapel Church. Definitely the pastors. At 23, Victor married his wife, Eileen breeding Marks, and they went on to have 5 kids. And
let me see this picture. She ain't showing no teeth.
kids. In 2003, he and his brother began All Things Possible Ministries. In 2023, Eileen's brother, Kenneth Brining, tried to shoot Victor Marks on Victor's property.
Right.
Fortunately, Victor survived that, but Eileen's brother would go on to kill his own girlfriend. Not really sure what's going on with this family, but it's a lot. Like I said, he announced his candidacy for governor of Colorado on October 1st. So that's the reason why his background is now being called into question. It's quite mysterious. And he began teasing that run at a memorial service for Charlie Kirk, just 4 days after Charlie's death. So, by the way, you don't have to take these biographical items from me. You can also hear Victor Marks. He has not been shy about sharing his story. Take a listen to him tell about how he grew up.
These viral Paleo Deli beef sticks are on sale right now for
30 beef sticks for $36.
These are the...
What the hell? I
remember sitting on the ground with my arms still tied to the bedpost. And then he brought an animal in, a dead cat. And he had a knife and he said, I want you to cut the head off this cat. And I was terrified. And he said, if you don't, I'll cut your head off. So
At 3?
Yeah, about 3.5. I used the knife to cut the cat's head off, and then he put the carcass on my head and blood dripped down on me. So that was the first really memory that I have of.
Okay, see? It was already deceased. That's a big difference. That is a big difference. I'm just saying. I don't know what kind of upbringing this is.
It would be the beginning of a lot of abuse. My stepfather, he put one hand on my wrist. He put his finger over my trigger finger. And then he pushed, and I pulled. And
pushed and
I
pulled.
shot the guy in his head, and it killed him.
He pushed
And
and
he shoved him in the hole, and he buried him. He wrapped the pistol with a handkerchief. And he said, if you ever tell anybody what I've done, he said, I know where this body is. And he said, I'll tell the police. It's your fingerprints on this pistol. And he says, they'll arrest you. They'll put you in prison. I remember being at a morgue, again, wrapped to a chair and watching them dismember a corpse and then watching them burn it. And I've dealt with thousands of demons now.
You mean cremated? I don't think you just burn a corpse. Don't you cremate them?
thousands. Easily. I've had demons speak to me through people. And one.
Demons. Let me let him.
They're saying, I will effing kill you. I will murder you. I'm like, shut up. No, you won't. You're being judged right now.
Ooh.
Stop using this man's voice. Over 100 missions complete. With trauma care help, over 45,000 women and children. Because of our access and our relationships with the Special Operations community and the IDF, they took us into places no one could go. And they showed us things that Hamas and many Palestinians would say is just propaganda or a lie. Yeah, I let him hold a grenade for his birthday. This guy's trying to kill me. If he comes out of the trailer and he takes that corner, I'm going to kill him. Please prepare yourself. And I remember her going, what? They diagnosed me with bipolar 2, ultra-rapid cycler, and put me on a lot of meds. There wasn't any help or hope beyond that.
Look at the wife. She looks in awe. To be quite honest, that neck so damn stiff. I don't know how the hell she sit like that with that neck that stiff. I'm like, relax.
Suicidal, homicidal. On the medications, I was suicidal.
Look,
and probably more homicidal.
Uh-oh.
Now, I would be remiss if I didn't also add that Victor Marx is very much involved in human trafficking, charity all around the world, because all of Erica Kirksteer's friends are, as I've mentioned on this show, which just seems to be one of the running themes. Anyway, as you know, we hosted Corby Hall, who claimed that Victor Marx was doing some deals or attempting to do some deals on behalf of the IDF. He never said those deals were illegal, just that he declined to participate in them. Trying to buy 50,000 guns for the IDF. We'll ask Victor Marx about that. Now, Victor Marx's relationship with the IDF is not a matter of opinion, it's a matter of fact. As you just heard him speak about it, we have also confirmed that Victor Marx conducts this quote-unquote retooling prayer where he claims that he is able to summon demons into a room, out of a person's body, on more than just Corby Hall and his wife, on other people as well. In fact, I am told that he was once conducting such prayers at the Turning Point USA headquarter office. So that's an interesting thing. And this is odd because Victor Marx is not a pastor, actually. Is claimed to be a pastor throughout the years, according to many people. Proof of that exists on his own website, by the way. It used to say that he was a husband, a father, a U.S. Marine, a pastor. That has since been quietly removed. Now, Corby Hall, you should know, is one of many people who have accused Victor Marx of abuse. And when these allegations tend to arrive, Victor Marx always rebuts them with the same line. The person making the allegations is troubled. He was just trying to help them or rescue them from themselves. Corby Hall, he has said, has mental issues. There are other people outside of Corby Hall. For example, a young woman named Holly Chalmers accused him of kidnapping her across state lines and of exploiting her. Victor Marx claims that he was actually rescuing her from her pedophile boyfriend.
Is the line between rescue and kidnap that thin? I don't think so. I mean, is it that thin? I don't know.
This is what she had to say in her own words. Take a listen.
What do you want our listeners to know about Victor Marx, the man that you believe that he is, and the experience that you had with him?
I believe that he's a trafficker himself.
That's interesting, because that's a question we've been asking on this show. All of these trafficking charities, what are they involved in themselves? I don't know. Anyway, Victor Marx's own son wrote a letter to the board on a company that Victor was a part of, accusing his father of abusing both him and his sister. Victor Marx's daughter made multiple social media posts confirming that he was in fact an abusive father, despite her not having wanted the information to be publicized in the first place. Here's a sample of what she wrote on social media. She wrote, on April 26th of this year, a letter was sent to my dad's board sharing detailed events revealing that I experienced abuse at the hands of my father for many years and that there needed to be accountability and financial restitution was being recommended. I had no idea about this letter, and I would even do a lie detector test to prove that. There was zero intention of the letter and the private matters to be made public. That was even stated in the letter. My parents did not handle this letter well and immediately requested the requests in the letter to be retracted or there would be quote unquote consequences. My dad's CEO reached out to me after my father's request for this to be retracted, offering me $55,000 as essentially be quiet money. I declined the offer and requested that we all do intense family therapy and intervention.
This is the perfect pair for your iPhone, and it replaces 3 different chargers. So when I travel, I don't pack extra cables, I don't have to pack extra bricks. This covers my phone, my watch, and anything USB Type-C. It's probably the most useful thing in my travel.
Now, to be clear, she eventually is going to recant many of these allegations, but her friends privately emailed this show and asserted that no, she was telling the truth about her father and her upbringing, and that it was only due to financial pressure and control that Victor Marx allegedly holds over her life in the wake of her divorce from her husband, that she is singing a different tune publicly. I cannot confirm that. We're not speaking to his daughter today, we're speaking to Victor Marx. We can only confirm that abuse allegations tend to follow Victor Marx, both at home and abroad. Now, we have also been contacted, I should say, by family members of Victor Marx himself, who claim that his entire backstory, stuff he is saying about his stepfather, simply is not true.
What?
He was not forced to kill anybody, that there are no bodies in the backyards of their farms, and that his stepfather, Glois, was indeed a crazy man, but he did not abuse those kids. Fortunately, like I said, we will be joined by Victor Marx himself when we get back from break.
All right, you guys, some moments change everything. And for a woman facing an unexpected pregnancy, seeing her baby on an ultrasound and hearing that tiny heartbeat can turn fear into hope.
I guess she probably recorded this after the interview, which would make sense. Let me see how this is about to go.
All right,
down.
you guys, let's bring in Victor Marx. Victor Marx, welcome to the Candace Show. How are you doing?
I'm doing good, Candace.
And thank you for joining me. I'm sorry that I missed your message that came back to me on, I think it was April 22nd. I know we were pinging over Instagram, but I'm glad that you could join us today. I'd like to guide this conversation sort of in order, meaning starting a little bit with your background. I think I have a lot of questions about some of the stories that you've shared. And I was able to speak to some of your family members, and they seem to have some questions about some of the biographical items that you share. So just beginning with, I think, sort of the inflection points, this story about beheading a cat and wearing its head at the age of 3. I mean, it's not an easy thing to behead a cat. I have a lot of toddlers. Do you stand by that?
Well, let's start with, I think, what's most relevant right now are the latest accusations by your last guest, Corby.
Child, we ain't even got 2 minutes into the interview, and he was like, hell no, we need to start with Corby. Damn.
Which is, I think, what brought us together on this whole issue. In what we're going to discuss and the time I'm giving you freely to talk about some things, are you willing to admit when you're wrong or you've been misguided?
So Victor, just so you know, you're on my show. I'm not on yours. So I'm going to guide the conversation. I said I'm happy to speak about Corby. There are broader concerns. Actually, the way that my highest interest in you is obviously as it relates to Charlie Kirk and your involvement with Turning Point USA.
I realize that.
Yeah,
and you're right.
We can speak about Corby, but you're, this isn't your stage. So respectfully, I do want to. You are running for governor, so I think your biography is important. Obviously, the Corby Hall stuff is important, and if something is wrong, we're happy to correct it. We did invite you to come on the show with Corby, which we asked you to do because that made the most sense, because you guys could rebut each other face to face. You declined to do that. So Corby had the stage for himself, and I could not offer a rebuttal because I wasn't there for the conversations.
Right.
So the answer is yes, but
yeah.
I want to start with your biographical items. Do you stand by that story, that inflection point?
Candace, we have to start with what brought me here, which is Corby. And I clearly communicated to you and your staff.
So that's a no. The cat story is a no.
Do not have him on. Do your research because he's unstable. And the very person that platformed him for you, Corey, has filled out a statement both with local authorities and FBI that he is homicidal, and he told her and her husband that he had plans to kill me, and she felt responsible for it being fueled. And your name was brought up as he's aggravated, something about he didn't get what he wanted out of your show. But I need you to at least acknowledge, did Corey contact y'all, not Corby, but did Corey contact y'all with the concerns of not platforming Corby again?
You brought up a homicidal. That's actually something that you said in the clip that we just showed, that you yourself have had homicidal thoughts. Do you still have homicidal thoughts?
Ooh. Imagine turning this single $100 bill into $100,000.
Spicy, ain't it?
Now that may sound crazy, but that's actually Elon Musk's prediction for his upcoming SpaceX.
Or is that a period in your life?
That was a long time ago, and I'm thankful I didn't. But currently, this gentleman is being sought by the FBI and El Paso County Sheriff Department, who admitted to Corey, the individual who platformed him on your show, that he was struggling with homicidal thoughts, and he gave detailed plans on how he was going to lay in wait to kill me. Are you?
Well, that's not anything that we have heard on this show. So like I said, we can't rebut on that. We received only a message from Corey that she got a phone call from the FBI and that they were investigating you for gun running. Did she inform you of this? I don't know. I would really like to go back to the biographical items, though, of your life. I don't want to get into your background investigations. I was not contacted by the FBI. I can't verify it. And as I said, we can discuss Corby's allegations. But I would like to begin with just the cat. Did you behead the cat at the age of 3? Do you stand by that story?
Did your team view social media, as y'all are a quasi-investigative team, by all your allegations? Did you see Corey's
quasi is disrespectful
public statement about what happened and how this is very serious? They cannot locate this individual you platformed, Corby Hall. And both his wife,
Victor, I just have to rebut you here and say that I don't necessarily trust what you are saying, given the fact that you don't want to answer just basic biological questions. And after having spoken with your family members who say that it's largely made up, I have no reason to believe anything that you're saying right now. So I'd like to just kind of focus on your character. We can talk about Corby. I have nothing to do with any pending investigations. I have not been contacted by law enforcement. So I'm not interested in having a discussion about information.
Have you been Candace, you seem to be a little afraid of truth. And what I once thought was a solid show years ago, you've turned this into a TMZ, and worse than TMZ, it's like a Temu version of it. I'm asking you, did your staff not see the statement that Corey Kennedy posted online? We're talking about a homicidal individual who has threatened to kill me, and your name was brought up in this?
I have answered your question. I have not seen it, so I cannot have a conversation with you about that. What I can have a conversation with you about is the statements that you have publicly made since you are joining this show. And I would like to focus on your biographical items because, as I said, I've spoken with your family in Martinville, and they claim that your stories are fantastical. So I'm just asking you, and we can then get into some questions about the alleged gun sales that you were trying to conduct with Corby, which is what we discussed on the show and which we have seen evidence for. I cannot speak to you about a report that I have not seen that you claim is happening. And I would like to just kind of get you focused here because you're running for governor. And I don't think that Corby Hall is going to be your number one issue.
Thank you. Corby is my number one issue right now.
This is your number one issue for the state of Colorado?
Corby is the number one issue right now, who's homicidal and admitted he wanted to kill me and how he was going to do it. That's why authorities are looking for him.
Well, I would just like to say to people that are watching this, I cannot confirm anything that Victor Marks is saying. I have not said it. I think he is using my platform to potentially spin some tales. The only thing that I heard was that there was an FBI investigation that was looking into you for guns, and that's all I've heard, and I'm not interested in that. I would like to now, since you have the stage, focus on you as a gubernatorial candidate and your background. And so if I could go back to that yes or no question, do you
I'll just go ahead and wrap it up with him. I'm like, I ain't even gonna do this. I ain't gonna be playing these mind games with you, sir.
By this story that you beheaded a cat at the age of 3.
Of course I do. But we're happy to give you the FBI's agent's name who is in charge of the investigation and moved it here. Regarding my Marine Corps time, this is one of the most flagrant misnomers that you have that really made us go, I don't think they're very professional in their investigations. You claimed, without a doubt, that I only served 2 years in the Marine Corps. Do you stand by that?
That was what we could find. I'm happy to edit that if you'd like to give us an updated answer.
Well,
was
it's not
it
just
2 years?
so much edit. It was 3 years, and it was on the DD-214. So you spread misinformation with great confidence and said, what was he doing? Which shows the lack of professionalism that y'all can't even read a DD-214. So, you know what? I'd appreciate an apology from you on misrepresenting my service to the United States when I served in the Marine Corps. Will you offer me an apology for that?
I think this was just sort of a clerical error that could just have been
it's not
resolved
clerical.
Right here. Like I said, you could come on the show and we could talk about your biography. So
well, now
I don't
you know
think
the
you're
truth.
owed some emotional apology. It was
It's
just
not emotional.
You thought it was 2 years. You're
you
saying
misrepresented
it's 3.
my Marine Corps time. I would appreciate an apology.
I'm not going to apologize to you for that. I think you're being a little bit over the top. We reported to.
Believe me, veterans around the country would stand with me. Veterans don't like to be misrepresented, and you are misrepresenting my time and service in the Marine Corps, and you won't offer an apology.
We are happy to update the record. You heard him here.
The entire veteran community will take note of that. Thank you.
No problem. We're just happy to correct the error that we made. We said 2 years, and he says it's 3.
My
that's not a big deal.
DD-214 says 3 years, and it is a big deal, Candace. Don't minimize my military service.
Okay, I was not minimizing it. I legitimately thought it was 2, and we stand corrected.
Then offer an apology.
I'm not going to apologize to you, Victor. I sense that you are quite arrogant and you're used to being in control of people
I'm not
and letting them
arrogant
do
or
things
used
for
to
you.
be. I am a truth
I'm
seeker.
just not. I'm not that individual.
For someone who is just lambasted innocent people as an internet bully, you're not used to someone come on the show holding your feet to the fire.
My feet don't feel like they're held to the fire at all. I think you're kind of representing yourself as a little all over the place and unable to just present
not at all.
biographical items as I'm giving you the opportunity to do. I'm asking
just
questions.
Correcting you so that we can have an honest conversation and it's not another TMZ approach.
Okay, you've done that cool line twice. Timu, TMZ. I see you had that ready to go in the chamber.
Sense.
Let's move on. Let's talk about your. Let's talk about your stepfather. You also claimed that you killed a man at the age of 7 because he instructed you to do that and buried him in the backyard. Your family disputes that neighborhood. They also noted that there are no news stories that would even back up that a man was missing. It's quite a rural community. Martinville, Mississippi. If someone went missing, that might have been noticed.
What was the name of the
Can you give us
town?
the name of the person that you said that you walked in and told the police that you murdered however many years ago because your father forced you to?
What was the name of the town you just mentioned? That was
Is this
rural?
Martinville, Mississippi?
No, it's not.
Where did you didn't grow up in Martinville, Mississippi?
No, I did not.
Where did you grow up?
I think you could at least find that out from reading my book or watching our documentary.
Would you like to, are you familiar with Mississippi at all?
Of course I am.
Okay, am I getting the name of the town wrong? Do you want to just tell us as opposed to trying to do a dunking on where in Mississippi did you grow up?
Ma'am, you're accusing me of that I'm not telling the truth on things.
No, I'm
And
just saying that you
and
said
your
you murdered a
team
man. So
can't-
if you could tell us what town that was in, that'd be helpful.
It's in interviews I've done. It's in our documentary. And I'm telling you, if you can at least get the town that I'm in, how can we trust you with more information that you're
I
bringing
think the bigger
against
thing
me?
is the homicide that was committed. So we can scrap about the town later if you don't want to say it. Are you saying you murdered a man anywhere in 50 states? Can you give us the name of the man that you were forced to murder?
I didn't know who he was.
You didn't know who he was. Okay, and you walked into a police station with this information and were told it doesn't matter anymore. Is that correct?
Is that your assumption that I walked into a police station? Where did you hear that?
That you confessed to, well, the reason why we know this information at all is because you've shared it publicly and said
Correct.
that they. Okay, so why don't you reshare the story and what's happened with that story since?
Well, why don't you present it accurately so I
The
don't
whole
have to
point of me
keep
having you on
correcting
the
you?
show and giving you the platform is not so that you can quiz me on your background, but rather so that you could just answer the questions and share the story in its correct context with the right city. So you don't have to worry about misinformation because you have a platform right now. Go ahead.
Well, Candace, I have a platform without you. We have 4 million followers. And listen, I've been on much bigger programs than yours. I don't need yours to clarify what we're doing. But what you're doing is making slanderous accusations that are incorrect at the very basic level. So, no, I did not walk into a police station. I called the sheriff department and made the claim many years later. Does that help? I'm doing
That
y'all's job
certainly
for
does
you.
help. Thank you for being
Okay.
able to just answer something and doing a quick fix there. Not everything has to take 5 minutes. You called the sheriff's department rather than walked into it. Thank you so much.
Correct. You're
And
welcome.
what happened after that, Victor?
Well, let me ask you this before I go on. Have you ever been abused as a kid?
Have I ever? Are you asking me if I've ever beheaded a cat?
No,
No.
I'm asking you, have you ever suffered physical or sexual abuse as a kid?
I would say that it would be a little bit more extreme if you say that you murdered someone. Like that's extreme abuse versus people.
But that's not correct. But that's not what I asked you. I asked you personally, have you ever been physically or sexually abused as a kid?
I have not been. I have not suffered
I'm
any
happy.
sexual abuse.
I am happy you have not. Now, what we're entering into now, we must be very careful. Because what and who I represent are millions of both kids and adults who've suffered abuse. And in no way do I want to make minimum of this or make it some type of ratings for you. I've shared my story as an adult regarding my childhood and the abuse that I suffered from 3 to 7 years
Yes,
old.
what I'm telling you is that your family members dispute it. So it's not about a TV moment. It's about me having spoken to your family members who say that this never happened. So that is of interest, obviously, because
Well,
you
not-
are
not really,
you want to be the
because-
governor of Colorado. So figuring out whether or not you tell fantastical stories or whether or not you're able to tell the truth is kind of important for voters, I would say. And I'm
Well,
inclined
Candace,
to think that
no
you tell
one-
some whoppers because
again,
trying to
careful,
make it emotional
Candace.
and say,
Ooh,
well, have
he
you ever
done
suffered
button that
sexual
jacket.
abuse? We're talking about a homicide, okay? So I don't know that there are many people who can say that I had to kill someone or behead a cat when I was 7 years old and bury the body in the backyard. That feels like an extreme example. Lots of abuse takes place, sexual abuse takes place. I've heard many of these stories. I would like to, this is actually very important. If this is an unsolved crime, you don't know who this man is. Where did this, I'd like you to just tell a little bit more about what the sheriff said to you when you called and said that you
I
buried a
will.
man in
It's
your backyard.
interesting, though, that you're claiming my family members from Martinville, Louisiana, claim this never happened.
Mississippi.
I'm 6 years old, and never once has my family refuted any of this. As a matter of fact, My sister was on my documentary film, The Victor Marks Story, which folks can watch. It's a documentary on YouTube. And she actually completely solidifies the abuse because she went through it. So did other family members. So I'm not sure who you're talking to. And if
Are you referring to
validated-
Charmaine?
Oh,
I am not. I'm talking
Which sister
about
are you
Debbie.
referring to?
Debbie, my older sister.
I did not speak with Debbie.
So, Charmaine, if you spoke with Charmaine, she is my half sister, who is the daughter of the abuser, Glorstein Kennedy.
Oh.
And I've tried to protect her because she has children. I've tried to protect the family that still carries Kennedy's name out of just, I think, caring for people. And my sister has struggled in her life
Debbie, or
with things including, a fiance who committed suicide. And it's sad that so much of our problems stem from horrible abuse from her blood biological father. So I'm sorry about that.
But also somebody could be missing a relative that got murdered. So I do think it is relative, like to you running for governor, to know why a sheriff, as you tell it, would decline to look into the matter if someone was killed and buried in your backyard.
Right. Right here at our Leadership Training Center, we've got members from ICAC, we've got Attorney General folks, we've got investigators, we've got analysts and detectives that come here to our training center for a retreat. We bring people in. I work by through them with law enforcement. I have MOUs with them. I work to become the man that I wish someone had been when I was a kid to protect me.
what does that got to do with why the sheriff said, okay, well, you killed somebody, don't worry about it? What are you talking about?
What I'm saying, and when we talk about kids suffering abuse, or in my case, abuse, and then forced to shoot someone, yes, I was older in life before I went to the police because it's a horrific thing to deal with. The reason why, it is a cold case. It was 40 years old. We don't know where the house is. We don't know where he was buried. We don't know who the victim was. And my father, it was my stepfather at the time, he was put in prison for unrelated charges to murder, but it was, sadly, drug use and bringing it in. But there's a cold case. They could not find anything. At least I went to them to clear my conscience because I suffered for years thinking that I'd killed a person.
But
So you don't know where the house is, you said, right?
No, no. I was brought there at night. I was 7 years old,
That's a lie.
and I was forced to lie in the back of a car.
And do you know which city it was in, just out of curiosity?
There were two towns or sister towns, Mendenhall and McGee. It was in one of those, in Simpson County, Mississippi. Feel free to contact the sheriff department.
Okay, thank you. I wanted to know about this, like who authorized you to be able to summon demons or exorcise demons? You told many stories about confronting demons, demanding to know what their names are. Where did you receive that sort of training? Because you don't say you're a pastor now.
Right.
Is that right?
I was in ministry, and I tried being a pastor, but I wasn't called to it. I was called more to be, I would say, a unique evangelist that helped people around the world. Now, as we step into this realm of spiritual warfare, I have to ask you, just for clarity so I know how to communicate it best to you, are you a Christian or a believer in Christ?
Yes.
Do you believe the Bible to be the inherent word of God?
Just to cut through what I think you're perhaps getting at, I think you and I would probably have different faith beliefs if that's what you are interested in.
Which is fine.
I think that is it fair to assume that evangelical Calvary Chapel, are you evangelical, is that correct?
I am a born-again believer in Christ.
Okay. So I'm Catholic, so the idea of you not being a priest and being able to exorcise demons is something that I'm interested in.
Yeah.
So I would just like to know
Sure.
who.
Discover a better kind of backyard water experience. One that combines fitness, play, and relaxation in a single, beautifully designed swim spa experience. Introducing Swim Series.
I'm gonna just see how much it costs. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Don't even worry about it. Now you're doing too much.
Sort of granted you that authority? When did you start doing that?
Yeah, well, you believe in good and evil, right?
Mm-hmm.
And do you believe that demons actually exist?
Of course.
And for us, and what I've studied in the Word and over the years, is demons' main focus is to attack a human's mind through lies. The Bible says that Satan is the father of lies. And that's what often compels and then drives people to do things they probably would never do otherwise. I was very interested in this as a new believer in the Marine Corps to find out, why are people so evil? Why did such horrible things happen to me as a kid? And the only way that I got a solid worldview is to understand good and evil exist. And that is why Christ came to earth. And then that through his word and what he said in his death on the cross, we could be born again, we could be set free from our old nature. We're made perfect before God, but we still have to live our life out, and it's not in perfection. But he gave us all authority. He said, I give you authority to trample serpents, to cast out demons, and I actually believe it. So what really put me in that place was I think my introduction to helping kids who are in youth prisons who struggled tremendously. Oftentimes kids who had killed, murdered, raped, tortured people. I dealt with some of the most severe cases. And why God put me there, I don't know. He just gave me a love for them to bring them hope. And it was there that many of them asked for prayer. And when I prayed for them, they would often manifest demonic influence or oppression. And the Lord taught me how to pray with authority. I go into detail about it. There's a film that we made that clearly communicates what we believe our position is in Christ, our authority is in Christ, and how to set people free. And probably the difference between me and maybe others that, have done stuff is we don't charge people to set them free. We do this out of love. There's no financial benefit for it, especially kids who are incarcerated. But I have over 6,000 letters here in our headquarters of kids that we've written, and we've corresponded back and forth, that really were helped in this. So while I believe in the power of Christ and the Word of God, and I appreciate the Catholic Church and their hierarchy of who can and can't, pray for and do exorcisms, I didn't have access to that, and I started dealing with a lot of people, and I have over the years. You bring up Corey and his wife, Melody. If you talk to her, she says me praying for her, which didn't take long. We're talking 10, 15 minutes is the average time of prayer. It's not dramatic. Nobody's hurt. There's not manifestation. It's just using the power of Christ, praying for someone, and we love and care for them. Because that's what Christ does.
So you do say that you can command the demons, then that you can speak to the demons and ask the demons what their names are and things of that nature.
Absolutely.
You believe you can do that?
I believe I can do what Christ did and said we would do also. He was the one that spoke directly to demons, told them where to go. He's the one that asked them their names.
Yeah, he's Christ. Yeah.
Yeah. And he said, my followers would be able to even do more than me. So I'll tell you, I just believe it, and we've seen it with thousands of people. And again, there's a film we encourage people to watch. They can watch it for free. It's The Unseen War. And churches use that. People of all faiths use that to understand that there actually really is power. And I've prayed for people who are believers, non-believers, Muslims. It doesn't matter. Humanity is under assault and attack.
I'm happy to accept that that's your philosophy, but you also believe that you can command angels.
I believe that angels are assigned to us and that we can, by the authority of Christ, command angels to help us in whatever we're doing. I do believe that.
In interims, you do this like prayer circle, and you don't feel weird about doing that, having people, bend down in front of you and say that you're commanding demons, tell you their names. That feels.
Yeah. Nobody bends down in front of me. No one even has to close their eyes when we pray. We record every session on audio or video so that they can have it, so there's no miscommunication. And I don't know, you have to look at the fruit of what happens of people being set free, like Corby's wife, Melody. She said she had struggled with thoughts in her mind, negativeness, since she was 6. And when I prayed for her, she said she was set free. It saved her life. So I don't know how that could be so wrong.
A rollout is a really giant knowledge transfer project. Thousands of people suddenly need to know how to do brand new workflows. And this applies to every team. Finance, HR, IT.
He got a mean ramble.
I could think of a lot of ways that it could be wrong, but I don't want to debate your theology. I just want you to have the opportunity to explain it, which I think you did. I do want to move on now to getting into some Turning Point USA stuff. So I had heard from Turning Point USA people that you also were doing prayers at the headquarters. Like you had a room where you would conduct some prayers. Is that correct?
I definitely prayed for a couple of people there. Yeah, sure, including Charlie.
Did you pray over Charlie and Erica Kirk in one of these prayers?
I prayed for Charlie. Yes, I did. He asked me to.
And did you do this sort of a retooling angels, demons sort of prayer over him and Erica?
Just Charlie. He asked me to.
Okay. And they gave you an office to do this. Is that right?
I prayed for him in his office.
And also other people at Turning Point USA outside of Charlie?
I think there were 3 other people that I prayed for that asked for that, yeah.
Okay. How did you meet Charlie and or Erica?
I was speaking at an event at a small Hispanic church in California, and Charlie was scheduled to speak, and the pastor asked me last minute to speak. I did, and it was before Charlie.
I was speaking at a church, Charlie, and then the pastor asked me to speak. Hold on, just give me a second.
And I knew about Charlie, but never met him. And after I spoke, to speak, I did, and it was
office to do this. Is that right?
I prayed.
I was trying to figure out what he was saying because he was like, "Well,"
and also other people at Turning Point USA outside of Charlie.
I think there were 3 other people that I prayed for that asked for that. Yeah.
Okay. How did you meet Charlie and or Erica?
I was speaking at an event at a
small Hispanic church,
California, and Charlie was scheduled to speak, and the pastor asked me.
Okay, I'm speaking at an event. Charlie is up next.
Minute to speak.
And then the pastor asked you at the last minute to speak.
Did, and it was before Charlie. He was a little aggravated that there was another speaker before him because it was a Sunday morning. And I knew about Charlie, but never met him. And after I spoke, he spoke. And then we met back in a little makeshift green room. And he says, I've never heard of you, but I'm absolutely encouraged to hear your testimony and what God's done in your life. And he wanted me to have his number and stay connected. So we did. That's how it started.
And was that when he was already married to Erica, or was that a little bit before?
Yes, he was already married to Erica.
Did you meet them both at the same time or met her a bit later?
No, she was there.
Okay, somebody at Turning Point also conveyed to me, and again, this could be inaccurate, which is why I'm asking you, that there was this falling out period, that you and Charlie did have a little bit of a falling out. Is that correct?
No.
You never had a falling out with Charlie?
That's a lie.
No.
Okay.
No.
That might have been, they might have had the wrong information.
Well, and I heard or saw that you said he unfollowed me, or we unfollowed each other. somebody asked me that in another interview. I made them open up their phone, go to Instagram, go on Charlie's and see if he was following me. You can do it right now. He still follows me.
Yeah, they said it was a period. It was the person had said it was a period. They weren't saying that it was forever. I was just figuring I'd ask you about that.
Yeah, no,
Okay,
we never
so that's
had a
just
falling
inaccurate.
out.
Okay.
Yeah.
So obviously a big question that we have had is you were first to post a video that was later on removed saying that Charlie had passed. And this video was about an hour and 20 minutes before the president's announcement. It would have been to the minute about the time that his family found out that he had passed away. Or the people that were at the hospital had found out that he had passed away. So can you explain how you found that out and why you chose to remove the video?
Well, yeah, I'm first interested to find out why y'all think I was the first or one of the first, to do that. Because, a rough estimate, there's between 1 to 3 million pieces of social media content that are produced every second worldwide. And, my team looked it up. If there's 180 million posts per minute, and let's just say the first 30 minutes, we're talking 5.4 billion posts in 30 minutes. How could y'all narrow it down? What type of technology could y'all do to narrow down that I was one of the first ones to post that he had passed?
Let's put it in a context that's easier. The first person in Charlie's orbit that announced that information. And when we put it down to the minute, it was when Erica found out that Charlie had passed away. So I was wondering how that was.
Okay. I had someone text me, and he said, my son is at Charlie's event, and Charlie was just shot. And it doesn't look good. We went on it. I watched Charlie being shot one time, and my team, many who are former special operations guys and combat medics, lots of experience, they viewed it multiple times because I wouldn't, and they said Charlie wouldn't live from that, and I knew it. I knew the only time I saw it, I knew there's no way he could have survived that, and when I made a post and said, Charlie's passed, of course I know Frank Turret, I know the security teams. I put it up, and then I didn't see anybody else posting it. I thought it was premature, and I pulled it down because it just felt wrong that I would post it. But I wanted people to pray. And then I contacted Erica through a text and told her, nobody's gonna kill you. You're safe. You and the kids. No one's coming after you. They just wanted Charlie. And I was just trying to reassure her. Because
you declared he was dead on the basis of people saying it didn't look good.
On the basis of people, myself included, who've held dead and dying men from combat in horrible situations. And anybody who saw the killing and has that experience know we knew he was dead instantly.
So Gordon Ramsay says this 12-piece set is the best cookware on the planet. But is it really worth the price? Well, their best-selling 12-piece set comes with 3 Hexcloud hybrid pans.
Look at Candace. Look at it. Look, yeah, right.
I struggle with that one a little. I think that's quite audacious for someone to, because you did make a post initially saying he had been shot, pray for him, and then you did a follow-up and then said, Charlie has passed on, and said pray for Erica. So it just seems like there was some information in the corridor there that led you to that conclusion.
Bingo.
And also in terms of the people who did post early on, I believe Jack Hibbs, Amir Safari, I think I'm saying his last name probably incorrectly.
That's
definitely
correct.
all a part of that same sort of turning point faith orbit of pastors. And Jack Hibbs took down a video saying that actually there was an Israel channel that reported it first and had the information before anybody else.
I'm not aware of that.
Yeah, so I was wondering if you were all perhaps sharing information, but you're saying
No.
you just did that by yourself, no information.
Well, the
and
first
then-
post I made was to ask for prayer. And I knew at just my gut level from watching it, he's not going to make it. And then, but we believe in prayer. And if nothing else, it's going to be for those who are with him, those who secondary trauma effects of you're supposed to be guarding someone and he's killed. Next, Eric and the kids, the first one we went to. That's why I texted and said, you're safe. They're not going to come for you because how terrifying.
Who is they? Who is they not going to come for you? Who is he talking about they?
You know, someone's just murdered, assassinated your husband. And when I posted the second time, that it had been a little time, and I just kind of spoke from my heart regarding it. But what I don't understand is why the inquisition on that from you?
Well, because
what's
we just
your
wanted
point?
to know where the information came from. Obviously, if we're looking into everything that happened that day, we're going to look at who was the first to announce that Charlie died. And you were very early, and you removed it also. So it was an interesting item that people obviously have questions about.
Yeah.
Okay. And then you were among the first to post, obviously you and your wife, actually maybe it was actually just you in the first 2 days that went to Erica and Charlie's place to provide her some comfort. So you were quite close to Erica.
We brought our team immediately to help give relief for the first security team, who I knew when I was in contact with. And they were suffering trauma and exhaustion. They didn't have the secondary. So, yeah, we went there. Of course, my bride was with me. Her and Erica are very, very close. And we were just standing by to bring comfort or help. The number one need they had, and we felt like it, and we were asked to, is to provide security to give relief. So that's what we did.
Okay. And just out of curiosity, how did Eileen and Erica get so close?
There's a lot of women that, reach out to my bride for mentorship. And Eileen's like perhaps a second mom to Erica. We've been close to them, and they still are. They were texting this week, and Erica reaches out, and we respond, or we reach out and encourage her. So yeah, they're very close.
Just sort of became close over the years.
Yes.
Okay, great. That just asking you questions. That's not trying to speculate.
I'm fine.
Really trying to understand what the relationship is here, because there are a lot of themes that keep popping up, and one of the things is your involvement in trafficking and charities. A lot of just seems to be like a running theme of a lot of people that are in that orbit. And I wasn't quite clear as to how you were able to involve yourself, I guess, outside of the military. Maybe you can explain this. In Afghanistan, in Iraq, in Haiti, where else, actually, could I ask you that? Did you ever go into Eastern Europe? I feel like there's always a Eastern Europe bend, too.
Yeah, no, not physically. We didn't do physical operations there. But how we got involved into it, my time in the Marine Corps was I served under President Reagan. My wife and I started a ministry, All Things Possible, many, many years ago. A couple of decades before that, I worked for Dr. James Dobson as an assistant. And we initially got into this aspect, or space of ministry, to help kids who were abused and suffered, many who were incarcerated, which was often a pathway for them to follow because of crime and mental health issues. We were invited, first I was invited to go to Burma by Dave Eubank, who I consider kind of the godfather of high-risk missions work. And he raises children in Burma, Thailand. They did missions work they still do, for decades. But it was me going there, experiencing what we did, seeing things at a whole different level. And then I got invited to go to Iraq when ISIS invaded. And the purpose was, and we had an invitation by the Kurdistan government, we had access placement and an official invitation to go in to help those who had been held captive by ISIS. I brought in partial psychology team, security team.
He is blowing me with this rambling. It's like it just goes. And then it goes. And then it just goes. And you're like, let me just read some comments. I should have been pivoting. You guys, look. Oh my God. Can you believe it? She did win. Oh my God. Let me read these comments, Lord. Letting him run his mouth is the smartest move. When he gets called out, he immediately asks a question as a response. Who calls the widow on the day her husband is shot to say, don't worry, they're not coming for you? 23 minutes in, and I'm answering question is the only thing I believe is when he said he told Erica that they only wanted Charlie dead, not her. I'm a veteran, served 3 times more than him. We do not stand with this guy. Only made it through this interview because of Kansas. Lord have mercy on Colorado. Notice how he switches from dominance to innocent victim act. Both tactics are just revealing weakness and greatest fear. So he told Erica, you're safe. They're only coming for Charlie. Who is they? And how did he know that? Who the f is they? I just can't. Like, I'm trying so hard. Just rambling. God.
ISIS was everywhere, and we needed to provide our own security. We went there the first time in 2015, the early part.
I just can't. Oh, look, he's rambling.
Very hot zone. We thought that would be it, Candace. We just thought we'd go in and help. We saw the enormous amount of IDPs, which are displaced persons because of ISIS having to flee cities, and a number of kids. And it was actually through my wife helping a girl who had been held captive. And this girl told Eileen, she said, you really care about all of our sisters. She was a Yazidi, and she refers to all the girls still being held captive. And she says, yes. And the girl pulled out a phone, gave it to my wife, and said, this is from ISIS Emir in the house I was held captive. And I hope it helps y'all find more. And actually, she had asked for my wife's, she kept looking at my wife's watch before that. There's a picture of it. It's actually very beautiful. And my wife said, do you like my watch? And she said, yes. She goes, well, you can have it. And she gave it to her. And that was the first of many times going into the region and many missions to help those. We didn't plan. It wasn't our focus to rescue women and children at all. It was our focus to help those who've been traumatized in these IDP camps, which some had 30,000 people on them. But they were lacking basic necessities. For women and girls, they were lacking what we provided dignity kits. For personal hygiene, we provided food, we provided water. We started providing surgeries as our donations came in. And never did we take any governmental funding. To this day, we haven't. Everything that we've done has been documented. And I think some people who doubt the authenticity of what we do, they simply have to go to YouTube and watch it. We've documented year after year.
Well, I think some of the doubt comes from the fact that people were not able to locate any of these, like 45, I think the number you claim is 45,000 kids and women that you've rescued. And 45,000, is that what you told Sean Ryan? 45,000, I think was the number?
Have you ever read or heard me say we've rescued 45,000 women or children.
I think we played the clip. I might be wrong, but 45,000 I think was the number. Producers, you can remind me, but I think I heard you say 45,000 in the clip.
You have to be very specific.
Yeah, on the Sean Ryan show.
Yeah, it was not rescued nowhere, including the Sean Ryan show. Have I ever declared in writing or verbally that I ever rescued 45,000 women and children? That's absolutely.
You guys think you could pull that clip?
Yeah.
Roll it.
I'm going to have the producers pull. I'm pretty sure you said 45,000.
Yeah, just play the clip in context.
Yeah. Do you guys want to play that? Is there a way? I'm just trying to see if we can get the producers to pull it, so I don't.
Yeah.
They'll pull that. I'm pretty sure you said 45,000. So are you saying you didn't rescue 45,000 people?
Well, what I'm saying is I've never, said or written, or our organization ever declared we rescued 45,000. We've helped. We've provided trauma relief, and some we've definitely rescued because it's part of what we do. Our mission statement for All Things Possible Ministries is to set captives free physically, emotionally, and spiritually. And we stay within the confines of our mission, and we're very successful in what we do, but we document it in a way that if people simply go to our YouTube channel, they can see it. If they go back, they can watch the history of our social media. Nothing
and
was ever deleted.
how many people would you say you've rescued? Because maybe we're parsing here. You're saying you freed people, rescued people. How many people would you say that you have rescued, just to get a number from you?
Well, we would never declare the total number of people we've rescued for both security and safety reasons, but we're happy to say that many have been set free and rescued in multiple places. From ISIS is where we got the most, I think people started recognizing that because of how high risk it was. My wife and I, the last mission we were on, we rescued. That was a rescue of a mom who had been held captive 9 years.
How much time I got left? Oh my God. I just need a break. I swear I'm about to lose it. Ooh, I'm about to lose it, Lord. I can't deal with him. Oh. Let me go to the backpack search illegal. Ooh, I did read about that. This morning. It was yesterday, maybe like last night. The book bag search. Let me go back up here to who was that? 5'5". Oh my God. When I tell you, he was making my skin crawl.
If you're tired of constantly switching glasses, you have to try this.
I can't even watch the M5, Lord. Keisha Lance. Oh my God. Child, listen, let me tell you something. Showed up for the Keisha. That's why Stacey should have ran for mayor. Ain't this her name? Stacey Adams. Thinking about the shoes. I think that's her damn name. Abrams. Stacey Abrams. I was Stacey Adams. Stacey Abrams. I was close. That's why Stacey should have ran for Atlanta mayor. Okay, girl. Okay. I see you, girl. She didn't run. Cause you know the article that I was reading, it was saying there may be a runoff depending on what the numbers looking like and stuff like that. But she won by a landslide. Okay. Child, we didn't fought around and flip Georgia. We just made history over here in Georgia. We just flipped Georgia. Stop playing with them. I am here for it. Oh, I don't feel like watching the rest of him. He is irritating me so bad. He is irritating me so bad. Like, I'm in my skin crawling. Like, ooh.
Had 2 children inside of captivity of ISIS.
His voice. I can't even stand here. His voice is so irritating. Like, oh my goodness. I need a break. Let me go back over to Cuff Boys because he was talking about Luigi Mangione. Let me see what he had. Go back. We've been betrayed. Uh-oh. Look at Dan Bongino. We showed up for Keisha Lance Bottom. She's now the governor of Georgia. We done flipped Georgia. Ooh, we done made history. I don't know what happened. Over there in Kentucky. That ain't none of my business. I ain't even over there. Come on with the huge update.
To start a podcast with Riverside, all you need is a concept and a way to record it.
I ain't even over there.
Here's how it works. First, go to riverside.fm and open an account, and then you'll be able to capture high-quality video and audio from...
The judge has ruled in the Luigi Mangione case, suppressing several key statements and pieces of evidence. Yeah. However, statements he later made to correctional officers were allowed in. All right, this is kind of a big update for Luigi. Right. This is a tricky case for me to cover because people are very passionate about this because of the healthcare system situation. I don't like it either. I pay $650 a month for healthcare, and I never use it. And I have to pay that because if I don't, I will get penalized in the state of California. Kind of crazy. But I'm going to read this full document and watch the court footage. Don't take anything I say too seriously. I'm just covering the basic facts. Love y'all, man. Hit subscribe. Let's go. I'm actually going to read some of this order first before I show the court footage. So obviously December 4th, Brian Thompson, CEO of United Healthcare, was shot to death outside the Hilton Hotel, Midtown Manhattan. December 9th, 5 days later, the defendant was arrested at McDonald's in Pennsylvania after he was recognized by employees who had seen media coverage. Wasn't that employee fired or is that fake news? I don't know. Something happened with this employee. Or they never got the reward. Wasn't there a reward at some point?
Yeah. That's so crazy. They never got the reward money because you have to call the reward line. You can't just call the regular police and be like, oh my God. You got to call 1-800 Crime Stoppers.
$10mm gun was recovered from the defense backpack, as well as, among other things, a loaded magazine, a silencer, cash, a passport, and a notebook. Defendants moved to suppress evidence recovered, as well as statements made to law enforcement officers during and after his arrest. Right. The police officers that approached him at the McDonald's were Joseph Detweiler and Tyler Fry. About 9:30 a.m. Detweiler was a 14-year veteran. I don't know if I'm pronouncing his name right, but whatever. Fry was a rookie officer. When the defendant pulled down his face mask upon Detweiler's request, Detweiler immediately recognized the defendant as New York City shooter. That's crazy. You know that officer's heart dropped like, oh shit, that might be him. When asked for his name, Luigi said it was Mark Rosario, which is, I believe, the name on the fake ID. He produced a New Jersey driver's license in that name. He went to verify the license and the database. He asked the defendant questions about where he's from and whether he'd been in New York City recently. He stood him up and frisked him, but did not find any weapons or contraband. Fry then stood next to the defendant while Detweiler went outside to call a lieutenant, telling him he was about 100% sure that was the New York City shooter. So he called all these lieutenants and fucking corporals. The whole squad coming now. Just from this cop saying, I'm pretty sure it's him. Defendant said that he had not been in New York City recently. He also stated that he was homeless. Detweiler told the defendant that they were just trying to confirm his identity and that he would be able to leave. Although Detweiler conceded that he had no intention of letting him leave. In response to further questions, the defendant said he was from the DMV area. Oh yeah, I forgot this guy's from like Baltimore or something, right? I'm from Southern Maryland, so that's crazy. Burns asked Detweiler if the defendant had been frisked, and Detweiler responded that he had. About a minute later, McCoy and Luke Yeager also arrived at McDonald's, went towards the back where the defendant was. All these guys, bro, there's like 10 cops there now. That's where it's like, am I free to leave or not? Like, when am I detained? So at 9:42 a.m., Hanley testified that he considered the defendant was detained at this point. While speaking outside, Detweiler repeated to Hanley the defendant was 100% the person in New York City. They pulled up the photos on their phones outside. McCoy asked the defendant if the backpack and laptop belonged to him, and he responded that they did. McCoy moved them to the table about 9 feet away from the defendant. The Mark Rosario license, no record was found. Detweiler then said he would be arrested for the fake ID if he gave police a false name. He asked the defendant if his name was actually that, to which the defendant responded, no, sir. Detweiler then asked for his actual name and date of birth, which was then provided. He also acknowledged having a fake ID. Corporal Trent directed Fox to read defendant Miranda rights, and Fox did so, and Fox asked the defendant if he wished to speak. He shook his head and said, no, I don't think. Exactly. Fox told the defendant that he was not in custody at this point. Fox continued to ask the defendant why he had a fake ID, and the defendant asked that he was going to remain silent. Fox ordered the defendant to stand and frisk him again. The defendant volunteered that he was carrying a jar of peanut butter. When they asked if he had any weapons, he first said no, but then said he had a pocket knife. Fox asked why he lied. Defendant replied, clearly I shouldn't have. Asked again why he had done so. He said, that was the ID I had in my wallet. I had a fake ID. They took the knife from him. Officers Detweiler, Fry, and McCoy searched the defendant's pockets and clothing, recovering the jar of peanut butter, a pouch with the money, some coins, gloves, papers, a hat, and some string. String? As Fox approached the table where the backpack was, he asked the defendant if there was anything in the bag that he needed to know about. The defendant responded that he was just going to remain silent. Wasser and Fox then proceeded to search the defendant's backpack. As they did so, the employees' customers continued to walk through the back area to access a closet or bathroom. They unzipped the backpack's main compartment and removed a sandwich as well as a loaf of bread. Corporal Trent approached them and said that we should go through that back at the station. Officer responded, I don't know, just want to make sure there's nothing in there that's gonna... Fox joked that he would rather have a bomb here than down at the station. Jesus. So they're searching the backpack at the McDonald's. Everything they find at this point is suppressed now. He didn't want to pull a Moser, a reference to an officer who had transported a pipe bomb back to the station. That's embarrassing. That's in a file for everyone to read now. They removed a red journal from a pouch and placed it on the table. I've seen people say this journal is planted because Luigi is born 6 days after me. I didn't know that. I pretty much had the same birthday as Luigi. What 28-year-old has a journal, keeps it on him, and has a manifesto or whatever? Because that's so incredibly dumb. Same with the gun. Like, what person keeps all this incriminating evidence on them? That's why it's planted. But that's what people say. They recovered a waterproof bag, a removed cell phone, a passport, a wallet from inside the bag, retrieved a small cardboard sleeve from the backpack, and spent some time trying to open it with a knife.
This $10 pen fixed what $1,000 worth of creams couldn't, because this yellow crust is why your nail fungus won't go away. Okay, it might look gross, but you need to see this. That thick, discolored buildup isn't just ugly, it's
cardboard sleeve.
Atlanta showed up and showed out for sure. Not even just Atlanta, honey. That Georgia, really, to be quite honest.
That.
We didn't flip Georgia.
Like, eventually got it open and removed a computer data chip that was inside the cardboard. He handed the passport to Miller and placed the other items in the bag. Trent and Burns then inspected the passport. They examined the wallet and took out and looked at the 2 credit cards before returning them to the wallet. They removed a pair of underwear and unrolled it, revealing a loaded magazine for a handgun. That's suppressed. All of this is suppressed. After announcing his discovery to others, Trent stated, now that you've cleared it all, let's just go back to the station. So it feels like Trent knew that they shouldn't have done this. He's like, yo, we shouldn't search this here. Is that what is going on here? Walser responded that they were just making sure it's not a bomb or anything. Fox told Walser, now that we found it, the magazine, let's just take it back. Hanley testified that he then told Walser and Fox that they should wait until they get back to the station before finishing the search of the backpack because he was concerned about cross-contamination of DNA evidence, and also because he did not want a search to occur in public. Walser and Fox then placed everything back inside the backpack except a few items which were placed separate in McDonald's bag to be taken back to the station. Walser stated they had not completely searched the backpack because they wanted to make sure there was no bombs. Trent then stated at this point you're probably going to need to do a search warrant for it. Ooh. I feel like Trent knew what was up with it. Like, we shouldn't do this.
Bingo. Fucking idiots. Duh.
And we planned a mission for 6 months, executed in 5 days. It's documented, and she's back home with her family. Unfortunately, her dad passed away while she was in captivity, and we never told the family we were going to attempt to rescue because of the hardship it would cause if we weren't able to do it. But Eileen, my bride, was the point person, the first person to meet her when we were doing this. That's documented as well, and we show pictures and videos of the mom and the kids in our safe house inside of Iraq.
I think one of the things that makes people really uncomfortable with a lot of these couples who involve themselves in rescuing and trafficking operations and charity is that we do hear this repeat thing where you say, well, it would compromise their safety if we told you where they went.
Sure.
And that makes us have to trust you, right? And trust that you're an honest person and that you're an honest dealer and that you're in fact rescuing them and not, maybe holding them in captivity yourself.
Oh,
yeah.
And so when you get a person like you who I think, I have some questions about your character. I think that that's fair.
Sure.
And you say that you're in this business and that you do everything, and the people that say you're not that person are all troubled. For example, the young woman that you said you rescued from a pedophile who says another story, and she makes the claim that she believes that you're a part of the trafficking ring. How is it possible for people to be able to prod that narrative if you can always just claim, well, the people that we help need privacy? I mean, that would be a perfect setup for like Jeffrey Epstein, right? I mean, if you just want to traffic people and then say, well, we can't tell you where these people are because we got to protect their identity and we've got to protect everything about them.
Candace, I think that's not a bad question because there are no doubt, and there's no doubt in my mind that there are organizations that are actually traffickers that pose as counter-trafficking. We've been doing this for, many years. And we work through law enforcement. In other countries, we still work through government agencies. And the best way to prove the authenticity of claims is two ways. Or three, if you want to go all the way. One is people who've been on the mission, credible individuals. I have quite a list of operators who've done security work, intelligence gathering part, who either still have or did have the highest level of clearance in the U.S. that worked for the CIA or Joint Task Force or Delta. This is not something that people winch at. Because we have a history of high credibility and integrity.
So the CIA, I would say, is the biggest trafficking organization in the world. So that's not a vote of confidence, right? So if you say, I did it with the CIA or the IDF, I go, so did Jeffrey Epstein, right?
Right.
So that doesn't, I don't think that like saying I do it for the government doesn't lend credibility.
Okay, you do.
Well, let me clarify. Right. I don't disagree with your statement.
Okay.
There are very corrupt governments, and I work for none of them. I work around the governments, but I've never been paid by any of them. When I say CIA, I'm talking about former men and women who have worked for the agency and bring a set of skill sets that are trustworthy for us. And the third way would be the actual victims themselves. We just got a video from Southeast Asia. I didn't ask for, but one of our safe houses there, they were so hurt and disgusted by the false allegations against me. And it's only happened since I've entered the political realm, which is a completely different beast.
Did he win? Is the Colorado midterm results? Was he running for governor? I don't even know if I damn spelled governor right. Who? Polish. Ineligible. Who? State requirement. Let's see. Tuesday. Who got $79 million from APEC? Let me just finish. I'm ready to go lay down now at this point. He is blowing me. I can't even sit up straight. Like, he's just blowing
they made
me.
A video and sent it. I couldn't even watch it all because
Let me go back to Luigi. He just,
Corporal Miller agreed. Sergeant Burns and Fox disagreed, saying they were permitted to do a search and sent to an arrest. Wasser carried the bag to her patrol car to transport to the station, while Fox carried the McDonald's bag of items to the car. APD general orders to the police station requires an inventory search of a detainee upon arrival at APD headquarters and before being placed in a cell. If search reveals a weapon, the inventory search would be moved outside of the intake area and away from the detainee. Every piece of clothing would be searched, as well as
Is that all his stuff? Mask. Clip. Did he cut his hair? Hand sanitizer. Is that a safety pin? What is that? Is this all his stuff? Is this all his stuff? Native. Comb, lighter, pods. What is these? Vitamins? Oh, yeah. Okay, I see him. The guards. Scissors. Is this all his stuff?
Bag, jewelry, extra clothing, and other personal items. Now the search of the police station, they find everything else. But everything before that is suppressed. The USB drive hanging from a necklace, bus tickets. They found the handgun. As she cleared the gun, she discovered it was loaded. She and Swope then placed it in an evidence box. At one point, she took the red notebook out of the backpack, examined it, and said it's like a journal. I didn't know this. Luigi started speaking to the people around him, the officers. He told Henry that he was a software engineer, that he had been arrested at McDonald's, and he had been carrying a backpack, and the backpack contained a 3D printed pistol and magazine, as well as a small amount of foreign currency, and that people were accusing him of being a foreign agent. Henry testified the defendant blurted out these comments without any questioning from him. On December 16th, the defendant was being monitored by corrections officer Thomas Rivers. Talked about his travels and places he had seen in Vietnam and Thailand, people appearing to be happier in third world countries despite living in poverty, and also discussed the healthcare system. Oh, brother, not a good look. Why is he speaking to correctional officers? What an idiot. Rivers will not recall who initiated the conversations, but Rivers doesn't recall who initiated. Sounds like Rivers did. But Rivers did not give his opinion about private versus public healthcare systems. Luigi also asked Rivers. He was portraying him and stated that he had heard he was being compared to Ted Kaczynski, the Unabomber. He said he wanted to make a statement to the public. He spoke to Rivers about books the next day.
He definitely made a statement to the public.
Victims that we had saved and helped.
Look at Candace.
And they're sending a video to try to prove to the naysayers that, of course, what he's saying is real.
Candace,
and that's on our social media. People can watch that. It's either AI or a bunch of people that are paid. And we've been doing this far too long and with far too much integrity.
Who is this? And milligrams of magnesium glycinate. The chosen one. What is magnesium glycinate?
Where should you invest $100 today?
Who is that talking that I didn't ask to talk? Is that MG? Milligrams. Magnesium glycinate. I think it might be glycinate. You know, you go over there, the science child, and they pronounce it differently. What is magnesium glycinate? 3,000 is crazy. Everything you know, the glycinate. Okay. What is it? What the fuck is magnesium glycinate? Let me see. A mineral found in every organ in your body is critical to bodily functions, the nervous system, and bone density. Oh, okay. Bone density. Who is that? Osteobiflex. They may have some through our diet. Okay. Beans, fish, and green leafy nuts. It's okay. Food quality is getting worse and chemicals are spread into our air. We have difficulty holding minerals in our body. As we age, the problem is compounded. The result is a population where many of us are at magnesium deficient. My bad. Don't do that. Supplementation. Okay. And I found that tends to decrease. Okay, chronic deficiency has been linked to fatigue, depressed mood, internal stress, hypertension, diabetes, sleep, and heart attack. Okay. What is that? Heart issues. Okay. adequate magnesium over long periods of time shows an increase in mineral levels in bones and may prevent joint-related disease. It can balance muscular cramping and calm stress, which may help counteract the aging process. Interesting. Okay, magnesium. I feel like it's glycinate, because I don't think it's going to be glycinate, right? It has to be glycinate, right? It might be glycinate. I don't know. Okay, 3,000. Let me see who got it. Okay, Amazon got some. Walmart have some. Child, you know, with vitamins and stuff like that, you probably have to go to the farmer's market, or you have to go straight to the vendor, buy straight from the vendor. Oh, I can go to the little pharmacy around the corner. It's like a health food pharmacy, but okay, I don't see nobody over here that's okay. Straight to the vendor. Shall I be need somebody who got Apple Pay? Oh, here go Herbie Pay. Herbie what? PY? Herbie PY? Herpy? Let me see what's inside of it, because I don't need all that. Let me have her hands playing in the background. She can get on my nerves.
Well, according to Elon Musk, anyone who invests...
While I'm reading about...
If I was doing anything nefarious, believe me, we would have already got in trouble for it, but we're not. The other one is if you just come. If you ever...
Give me this out of it.
Candace Owens, if you ever say, I want to go to the Middle East and meet people and see firsthand what you've done, if you'll accept the risk, I'll give you my word that you can be on a team. We'll take you there and we'll introduce you. As long as you sign an NDA and make sure you don't reveal some of our network, because we still do the work. If you want to go to Southeast Asia, well, you can bring a camera crew. We'll introduce you to one of our safe houses and see the work that we do. It's just we've always kept things closer to our vest. We've raised our own support, and the most important thing that has helped us is prayer, because we have been able to do things that people said could never be done. So that's the point I'm making regarding this aspect. Now, regarding Holly, the young lady that you brought up in Canada, you know what? Everything we said about her is true. Everything we did is true. And here's what I would say to people like yourself, and I haven't heard you accuse us of doing anything nefarious. You only repeat what others say. But regarding Holly, this is what I'd say to anybody. Has anyone talked to Holly's mother or her father? If you haven't talked to their mother, her mother or father, then you haven't done the very basics of investigative work. 2, we met with an HSI, human trafficking specialist at the border, who approved us to get through from Canada to the U.S. and gave her temporary status. 3, we brought in law enforcement both here and in Texas where we were keeping her. 4, we documented everything. And 5, the very point couple in Canada that was our, I would say, our agents of hope up there, have video that they just posted yesterday of Holly telling the truth about what we did to help her. And look, I've had those videos, but I've never put them out since they reached out to Holly. And it wasn't Holly that reached out. It was Holly's pedophile who...
3 a.m., we got a crazy review last night. The customer said the UV bed vacuum cleaner worked so well that she got grossed out after seeing how much hidden dust came out of her mattress. I told my boss about it right away. And guess what he said? He said, all right, from now on, anyone who places an order today gets a special discount before we run out again. This thing uses powerful UV light technology, combined with strong suction and high-frequency vibration to pull hidden dirt and dust from deep inside mattresses and fabric surfaces. This bed looked completely clean before, but watch what happens after just one pass. In seconds, the dust container fills with fine dust, pet hair, skin.
Groomed this girl since she was 13, had sex with her at 15. She is sadly, a very damaged individual. They've already had a child. And I'm telling you, the people who have platformed her pedophile on a conservative radio station here, they're going to be held accountable because they've re-victimized this girl. She has Stockholm Syndrome. She hasn't been posting. The last thing they did, and I was told that these folks here who are trying to discredit me, Candace, told her, if you and Les will sue Victor, try to get him for trafficking, you'll be able to make millions.
Ooh.
So Victor, an easy question for you. Have you ever done anything wrong?
Of course, but in what context?
Just in your ministries, in these relationships that you've had with people that claim that they find you to be manipulative and abusive. Have you ever done anything wrong?
Candace, I'm human. I've messed up plenty, but in the area of integrity, I've never intentionally gone after anybody. I've never manipulated, maligned, or tried to do things for money. So yeah, I mean, watch my film, read one of my 2 books. I talk about plenty of self-evident, ways that I depend on the grace of God. But I don't know if it's that hard to believe that somebody that came from my background, who feel like I've been given a second chance in life, my goal as a kid growing up was to become the man that I wish somebody would have been to help save me. And I turn around and God redeems.
It was my fault because I didn't speed his ass up. Playback speed should have been at least 130. At least.
It's my life for a greater good.
See what I mean?
What's so hard to believe about that? That I made right choices. I didn't have to end up in prison. Yeah, I struggled with drug abuse as a kid. I struggled with my temper early on, of which I told people I would, about once a year, I'd punch or kick a hole in a wall. That was many years ago. I told people I was under psychiatric care, 123 visits to a trauma specialist. Why wouldn't I after the abuse that I went through, which was severe, and torture? My life is a redeemed life. Never do I claim to be perfect. But my passion is I love people because I'm loved by God. And I don't know why, only since I've come into this space of running for governor has all hell broke loose.
And I think people are just looking into your background. They have some questions about, it just seems a little bit fantastical, your relationships with the IDF. I mean, personally.
Do you want to talk about that?
Well, I think you've been honest about your relationship with the IDF. I think you've just said that you have relationships with them, obviously. You went on Charlie Kirk's show after October 7th. You've said you foster a relationship with them. I'm not saying nothing was
I did.
Nothing was said, just to be clear, that was illegal about your relationship with them. There was nothing said that was implied that you did anything illegal.
Ask me what I did with the IDF. Ask me so I can tell you. Why don't you ask me what I did with the IDF? Why did I go to Israel?
After October 7th, we played the clip on our show when you were on Charlie Kirk's show.
Do you know what I did there, Candace?
I can say what you said on the Charlie Kirk show, that you went there after October 7th to be able to tell the story of what had happened there and to separate propaganda. People would say it was propaganda.
Correct.
Yeah, so we showed that.
Well, let me tell you, we helped 6,000 children who had been affected by the war between Hamas and Israel. And it was because we had access places and an invitation that we were able to go into these places.
Who invited you?
A nonprofit that was based inside of Israel, who was a Special Forces IDF guy who's followed us for years. We got invited in. And, the first question I asked him when I'm in kibbutzes with blood and gore everywhere, I said, why didn't the government respond? What happened? And my friends who lived there said 2 things, Victor. 1, we were unprepared and we underestimated our enemy. I said, how long did it take for the government to send reinforcements? It was 6 hours. 6 hours. I asked every fighter, why? Why didn't they respond and help y'all? Why did they leave y'all here fighting? Why did so many women and children have to get killed? How come they didn't respond? No one has an answer. And someone should be held accountable for that. Because I'm not there to back Israel. I'm not there to back Palestinian folks. I'm there for women and children. And we put our life on the line to help. Over 6,000. I went into the West Bank, and yes, I did go into Gaza by virtue of these special operations teams. Not to shoot, not to kill, not to kick doors in. I went to pray. And we helped Palestinian kids who had been injured as well. This is who we are. And anything other than is just ridiculous. We handed out lion and lambs.
What do you think
What's your
about what
trauma tools?
Israel is doing in Palestine?
It's a family crisis that's unfolding in real time. A mother is patting her 10-month-old baby boy on the back after he starts choking on a piece of pancake.
We kind of hit him on the back. Thought, okay, he's
the moment.
Well, I know this. I know amazing IDF fighters. I know amazing people who are protecting their homeland.
I just can't. I'm struggling to get through this.
His favorite authors and recommended a book by Aldous Huxley. They also discuss the standard of health among Americans compared to Europeans.
I overthink during sex and can't stay hard. Honestly, this is why I recommend Blue Chew Gold.
Blue Chew Gold. Blue Chew Gold supports circulation and
A lot of healthcare discussions with correctional officers when you know you're a person of interest in the murder of a CEO
Exactly.
of a
Why
healthcare
are you
company.
talking?
Not very smart. So obviously these statements are going to stay in because he's in custody at this point and he's just speaking. They're going to say that's like voluntary or whatever. The backpack was not within the defense's immediate control or grabbable area at the time of the arrest or search. Hanley moved the backpack away from the defendant out of his reach shortly after he arrived, while a number of officers stood around the defendant. Hanley considered him detained. A short while later, McCoy moved the backpack to a table about 9 feet away from the defendant, while officers continued to surround him. Once the defendant was arrested for false ID, he was handcuffed and remained surrounded by several officers. Under these circumstances, the backpack was not in the defense-controlled or grabbable area, and the backpack was within the exclusive control of the police. Even if the backpack could be seen within the defense-controlled or grabbable area, the people did not meet their burden of demonstrating exigency. The people asserted that the police were merely searching for explosives in an effort to protect themselves and the public. Before removing the backpack to the station, however, the justification for the searching the backpack does not hold up to the scrutiny. The officers' actions were inconsistent with merely performing a safety search. The area where the police searched the backpack was open to the public and to the employees. Both of them passed by the area on the way to the bathrooms. Yeah, so they can't say that. Oh, we were searching for bombs, but we were letting people walk by. We did it out in public in the middle of a fucking McDonald's. Like, clearly that's not what they were doing. They were searching that fucking bag. And that's why it's suppressed now. A safety search for a possible bomb is inconsistent with this unsafe protocol. Moreover,
They are just totally like. I mean, he's not gonna get off. Clearly, I mean, clearly he's not gonna get off. They're gonna get him for something. The problem though is, he has this state case and then he has this federal case, and so it's just. It's a nightmare if I was him, to be quite honest, having to like, he has Alex's wife as his lawyer. I can't think of Alex's name, who was just child, the Diddy case, honey, him, his wife, Lord, my goodness, whew. My brain is totally fried at this point, and I ain't even did nothing other than listening to Victor. I haven't even done anything. My brain is already just like, oh my goodness, this guy here, man. I'm talking about how much time he got left. Still got 20 minutes left, Lord. Why we went to commercial break?
Of children on both sides of it, and I've been with great warriors. We've helped. But I don't, and I can't say that I fully trust the leadership and judgment of a government that waited 6 hours to send reinforcement. It's a 20-minute flight by helicopter. It's a 45-minute drive to send troops down there. The reasons they said, I still don't know. And I was told by everybody there'll be an investigation afterwards.
Yeah,
but I know
I think it was to establish the pretext for what they did in Gaza. I'm just asking, you've expressed that you and your wife care deeply about women and children.
We do.
And you can see the footage of what they have done to Gaza since. So I'm asking you.
It's horrific. While we were there on the Israeli side, we had over 2,000 rockets launched at us. How are they still firing rockets? I said from the beginning.
No, I don't think Israel's the victim. I'm saying now I think the victim has flipped, obviously.
I think innocent people on both sides paid a price. Paid a horrible price.
But do you believe what's happening in Gaza is a genocide?
I would say this, it has turned into a genocide. But the question I have to ask, and you should be asking too, why did Hamas stop firing rockets when we were there doing humanitarian work? There was over 2,000 rockets fired at us in the areas that we were at. It was nonstop. I said this from the beginning. I put it online. I was on Fox. I said, Hamas needs to stop firing rockets in the beginning. Stop firing. Return the hostages. Return them. And then there'll be a ceasefire, work out something. They never did. And that's the question. Look, I love Palestinians. I love the people. I've helped kids, women. I love them. And to see people innocently slaughtered because of a terrorist group, Hamas, that continues to attack Israel, what are you going to do?
Well, I think the terrorist group now might be the IDF, right? Because what's happening in Gaza, I don't think that that's done by people who are not terrorists. I mean, I don't. Have you seen the videos of what's coming out of there?
I saw the videos of what Hamas did. It's horrible.
Yeah.
It's horrible. Guess
I do want to just show you, by the way, your website said that you rescued 45,000 people. I just want to show you that. This is the old website. Did this get changed? But a Marine, a pastor, I don't know who changed this. Maybe you had somebody doing your website and that got changed. Did you have somebody make the website for you?
I can't.
It says high-risk humanitarian who has rescued more than 45,000 women and children.
That's completely inaccurate. I would have never. What website is that on?
It's Victor2026.com.
We never, anybody. They're saying that was on our website. I don't believe that. We would never put rescued 45,000. Never.
Oh. He looked around there about 4 people. Excuse
me.
Excuse me. It's just, when it will still save former edits on a website, so it may have just been your website guy got something wrong. So I just wanted to let you know that we didn't do that.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so that is very interesting to hear your perspectives on what Israel is doing. I think it's probably going to be a number one issue, and I think right now currently people feel that the majority of the politicians have sold out to AIPAC, and I would definitely have some questions about your relationship with the IDF. And like I said, Corby did not say that you did anything illegal. If you are legally allowed to buy and sell guns.
Never did I ask Corby for 50,000 weapons fighting. Why? I have an FFL. I only buy stuff for ourselves for our training. That's ridiculous. That's absurd. And again, Corby's still loose out there. And if he's watching, Corby, please turn yourself in to some authorities. Let them question you. And like I said from the beginning, please get help. Don't act upon the thoughts you're hearing.
So, I'm sorry, are you pretending that he's on the run right now from the federal government? Because that's a remarkable claim.
I'm not saying he's on the run, but I'm saying that the authorities are looking for him to question him.
Have they tried to call him?
I guess. I don't know. It's both the FBI and El Paso County.
If they're looking for someone to just call them, right?
Well, I'm sure they have. It's an open investigation. But I'm just saying Corby should just stop whatever he's doing and respond to authorities to get this sorted out.
If you can dream it, you can plant it.
He clearly had a note.
Discover and plant flowering favorites now and enjoy vibrant colors and fresh fragrance.
But you don't know if they've reached out to him, but you're saying he should stop and respond?
I do not know. They've contacted me and said, do you know where he is? Do you know where he would be? And I'm like, I do not. So that's why I'm
just go back. Just, the way that you said it the first time, you made it kind of sound like he was on the run from authorities, right? Turn yourself in sounds like, when you say turn yourself in, it sounds like there's a warrant for your arrest. So this is what I think that sometimes you can get, maybe you don't realize it, but you can get a little fantastical in your descriptions. Corby, stop what you're doing and turn yourself in is a little bit different from, I have no idea if they're reaching out to him, but I was told they might give him a call, right? So that's a little more reasonable of a statement to make.
Let me make it very clear. The FBI has contacted us. It's an open investigation. And El Paso County Sheriff Department, they are looking for Corby. Plain and simple. He should stop what he's doing and contact them or turn himself into local authorities wherever he is so he can be questioned.
You don't have to turn yourself in if there's not a warrant for your arrest. Respectfully, that's not how that works. They just have to call them. I think that's a perfect place to leave that. Let's not pretend. If you said there's a warrant for his arrest, that'd be a little different. But you are not required in any of these states to turn yourself in because somebody says, okay, we're gonna try to make some contact with this person. You have not said that he's not answering. I want to stay away from the fantastical stories and narratives and just stick to the facts. Like I said, I've heard that there's an open investigation into you and has something to do with guns. I don't know, but I wouldn't just assert things. We could say, Victor, stop what you're doing and turn yourself in because somebody got a phone call.
That's a complete fabrication.
Okay.
I work with law enforcement.
Okay. Well, we'll leave that alone. So you assert that Corby's accusations against you are...
If someone said they were going to kill you and they told somebody how, would you want that person to talk to the law enforcement?
I have no evidence of that. And like I said, some of your stories, just a perfect example is what you just did there.
It's Corey Kennedy who platformed Corby. Obviously, this is a little bit more.
Yeah, I am platforming you right now, actually. So here we go.
Yeah, but I've done nothing wrong. If anything, that's just incredibly sarcastic.
Yeah, I was being sarcastic. I find you to be arrogant and off-putting, actually. It was a little bit of sarcasm of me basically pointing to the fact that you come across as very arrogant, and it is off-putting that you make statements like you make. You stop what you're doing, turn yourself out. You're constantly presenting yourself like you're some sort of an authority. You can just deliver the facts. I received a phone call from this person. They said they might be looking for him, and I don't know where that went since. That would be a logical, non-normal statement.
It's completely appropriate for me to say law enforcement is looking for an individual who confessed to someone who platformed him on your show, connected y'all, that he's homicidal and he wants to kill me and this is how he's going to do it.
I just don't know if I believe that the feds would need you to help look for him if that were true. They do have resources. But like I said, I also don't believe that you beheaded a cat when you were 3, because kids are not that strong, and that's a hard thing to do. I don't believe you wore a cat head because there's a lot of things that you say that I don't believe. So I'm just going to file under.
But I'll tell you, be very careful in minimizing someone who's been victimized, including children, because there are millions of us out there.
I do not believe the story that you were forced to behead a cat and it was your first memory.
You don't have to. But be
just
very careful minimizing.
And wore a hat. I don't believe that. I truly don't. And that is not to victimize children. I do think that what you're actually doing is you're being emotionally manipulated by saying, oh, if you don't believe me, then you don't believe victims. No, I believe things that sound believable because I have a logical, rational brain. And I have to stop at shootings and murdering people and the sheriff's department not wanting to figure out who that is or not knowing where it happened. A lot of it does not ring true to me. And like I said, I do enough due diligence to speak to relatives, and they say that it's not true. You're presenting it as though they're protecting the abuser. I just tell you, I personally don't believe it. And if I were a Colorado resident,
I would say this. We can introduce you to international, well, you're not, it doesn't matter. What I would say is this, the International Crimes Against Children, let us introduce you to detectives that actually work on child abuse cases and have one conversation with them to see what's really real.
I'm sorry.
You don't have to. I'm not saying you have to, but I'm saying don't minimize people who've been victimized as children.
I'm not talking about you directly, so you don't have to make this. You don't have to universalize
one that represents millions, Candace.
I don't think you represent millions. Marks. I really struggle, and I actually am hopeful that you don't represent millions. I want to have a hopeful picture.
Trust me,
of the future.
there are millions that follow me that suffer abuse, and that's why our films, our books, that's why me telling my story encourages and gives them hope. That's as simple as that. We'll never stop doing that. Whether you believe it or not, that's not the point here. The point is to say that I didn't suffer abuse the way I'm
not saying you didn't suffer some form of abuse. I'm saying you didn't.
Horrible.
I don't believe you wore a beheaded cat head after you beheaded. I don't believe that. If that's okay, we can just agree to disagree on that one. Yeah. Just a lot of the mechanisms there just don't make sense to me.
You should talk to ICAC detectives, people who work on sex crimes against children, and kids who were abused and murdered. There was a kid here, 4 years old, that was beat to death. Every bone in his body.
Beat to death.
Yes, that's right.
Absolutely. Wait, but if he was beat to death, he wasn't there, right?
Pardon me?
There was a kid that you said was there at your house, and then he got beat to death?
No, here in Colorado, recently, a 4-year-old was beat to death by a caregiver. 4 years old.
That happens all across the nation. That's a believable story.
That's right. And do you think they never suffered any type of torment or torture before that, or is it just an act?
I would struggle to believe that a 3-year-old beheaded a cat and then had to wear it on their head. I struggle with that one.
The cat was dead.
I didn't think it was alive after it was beheaded. I mean, I don't think there was disagreement on whether or not the cat was alive.
Study voodoo. Candace, do a short study on voodoo and understand voodoo rituals against boys. If you go deep enough, you'll see how twisted it is. I'm not here to glorify darkness at all. That's not my point. My point is that we bring life and hope, and maybe some things that even you don't believe that happened to me as a child motivate me to help kids over these last 40 years, which is documented and provable. I don't know why you feel you're the person who has to, but maybe I do now because you just said it. If you live in Colorado, you wouldn't vote for me. So maybe you're getting paid by somebody to discourage a vote for me, which is the only reason all this stuff.
I actually removed myself from politics altogether after Charlie got killed. I'm not voting for anybody.
But you didn't remove yourself because you just made a statement. So,
no, I don't live in Colorado, so it's not. There's no consequence.
You told people not to vote.
Yeah, I will be. I will own that. I have many times since the Charlie Kirk assassination and the lies surrounding his assassination have said.
Well, thanks for leaning into trying to dissuade people from voting for me and discredit me as a child who was abused. I've given plenty of time. It's supposed to be 30 minutes. Do you have any follow-up questions? Because I do have to end.
No, I thank you very much for your time. I wanted to make sure that I provided you equal time to be able to answer some of the questions. I think you did clarify some things. I don't think anyone will ever forget that you served for 3 years. I won't. I will make sure everybody knows that from here all the way to Colorado. This man served for 3 years. And I think that's a thank you for your service to this country.
You're welcome.
It's a great place to end. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you, Candace.
Look at Candace.
All right, you guys, we will be right back after a brief break, and I'll answer some of your questions. All right, you guys.
My God.
You know that feeling when you're running on coffee, leftovers from your kids' plate, and pure determination between family, work, and trying to keep everyone healthy? Moms are... Man, there's just a lot that could be said there. And I'm sure you guys have a lot of comments about that. A lot of cat jokes that could probably be written after this. First and foremost, let's go through our top comments from yesterday's episode first. Adriana Gomez came in with, whenever something is amiss, I think it should be referenced to as neffed up. Yeah. It's neffed up is a great way of putting things. Blakey Neff. We're at 47 days, Blakey. Here's my take, Rose. I really want to hear from Charlie's parents. You and I both, and I think the entire world would love to hear from them. Like I've said in previous episodes, I do know that they are, in fact, in a deep state of grief. And I will just leave it at that. Won't say how. I've just heard some things, and I know that they are acting in a way that some people might have thought his widow might have acted following his death. All right, let's get into some comments from today's episode. We have, Terrell writes, men like this are the reason I started reading the Bible recently. Yeah, I mean, I think in regards to him talking about his faith, he is sort of like, the faith is mine. Like, I have the Bible, I can make it what I want. It's one of the flaws that I find in Protestantism is that it becomes my truth very quickly. And anybody can interpret every verse as they want, and they can make it a bumper sticker, or you can believe like that you can do exactly what Christ does, and you can summon demons and angels into a room. Right. So that's interesting. Natty Nicole writes, as a vet, I am dying laughing at him crying about his time in service. What a joke. Yeah, I was like, I really think people who serve a little tougher than that, they could just answer the question like we weren't trying to diss them. I said 2 years. I think they thought it was 4 years, and we said 2. And he's like, you don't even know how to read this form. And it's like, well, all right. 3 years, man. It's all you. Cat Bab Watches writes, Christ has been my savior since 1982. Since then, I have had a gift of discernment. This man is evil, and he may know Christ, but I'm sure Christ will say to him one day, I never knew you, depart from me. The Gospel of Matthew, absolutely. Julia writes, Army veteran of 10 years of service here, not offended. I'm offended that he was begging for an apology. We served to defend our country, I thought. Feeling hurt over one last year was wild. Great job holding your ground. Proud of you as always. And it's always like demanding apology. I just find it to be weird.
Tell me
why would you want an apology if I'm not sorry? It's just like a weird power move. Say sorry to me. Not your kid, man. I'm not your kid. We will not be demanding any apologies out of me. I don't owe you an apology. It was an honest mistake, and you do come off like a crybaby. For taking it that personally. Alaska Dog Lady writes, no, he did not dare call us Timu, TMZ. This man is unstable. Christ have mercy on our ears. I'm going to have to tell my priest that I will chill. Yeah, he did. He called us Timu, TMZ. And I think TMZ is pretty Timu. So that ain't good for us or something. But you can see he just sort of like had that ready to go and kept saying it. It was just weird. It just made me feel like it was a bit childish, to be honest. Munoz writes, I am no body language interpreter, but Victor seems incredibly uncomfortable. Lying makes people naturally uncomfortable. He just kind of strikes me as someone who's used to talking a lot. He doesn't listen a lot, but he's used to just speaking all the time and letting people believe him. And you can see that actually when we were watching some of the clips of him on stage, he actually probably would have crushed it as a comedian. He's got good timing and he just believes everything that he says. He's not used to being challenged. And you can see that it sends him into a rage. Like when he said, oh, like I had to work, I used to punch holes in walls. I'm like, I feel like you still need to work on your temper because you just came here thinking that you were going to direct the conversation on my show. Doesn't work like that. Actually, it's my show. Kay Jordan writes, the gaslighting is insane. Him knowing Charlie was dead as soon as he saw the video, but calling for prayer, but then announcing he's dead. Yeah, that part made no sense. I didn't buy it, but I allowed him to say that he's tell it in the way that he wanted to. You continue with prayers to St. Michael the Archangel. Please stay safe, Candace. I do that prayer every single day. It's a powerful prayer. I really do. I believe it is. TN Cricket writes, tell me that you've never helped an abuse victim without saying that you've never helped an abuse victim. Asking someone on a live show if they've ever been abused, obviously expecting a no answer. The truth is not in him. You could just see the way that he's kind of like, if you question me, you're questioning all abuse victims. It's like, no, most abuse victims don't say that they beheaded a cat when they were 3. And I'm able to compartmentalize that. That to me, as I said to him, felt like an emotionally manipulative tactic. Like, I now represent, he said that. He's like Trump, when Trump's like, I am MAGA. He's like, I am abuse victims. Nobody, you're not. Everybody knows people that have been abused. And I've never seen people behave like that, like they are the authority on abuse. And again, your character comes across when you speak. He didn't represent himself well at all. And he had the platform to. Sport Anna writes, we stand with CO. Thank you very much. Sev Games a lot writes, Candace, can you please give a shout out to the Free Wendy Williams movement? Yeah, I should look into, I know a bit about that. We have not covered it on the show, but it is crazy to think that a bank can just step in and take over your entire life. We got to start using cash again, guys. We got to get it.
Child, that Wells Fargo had disappointed me so bad when I heard about that Wendy Williams. I was like, Wells Fargo, what? Wells Fargo, what? It's like, what in the world?
System. Wait till they bring in like chips and digital IDs want inserted into our arms. They've got quite a dystopian vision for the future. Minnesota Lizzie writes, hey Candace, I look back and Charlie Kirk did say that his daughter's favorite song is Jolene by Dolly Parton. I'm thinking replace the female name and it could be about mom, ? Truth Prevail writes, you definitely have a lot of patience for dealing with this guy. As a veteran myself, no offense taken at all. Victor is gaslighting. He's also a narcissist. He can't even answer a question without being belligerent. Yeah, that is the perfect adjective for him. He's belligerent. And I don't think he's aware that he's belligerent. I think he thinks he's calm, and he thinks it's a rational thing to get all like bent out of shape about how many.
Don't wash your engine with pressure water. Better do it with a steam machine, and it won't damage any electrical parts of your car. And honestly, this is just way safer and smarter. This steam cleaner heats up super fast, like just a few seconds and you're ready to go. No waiting, no hassle. Just point it at the dirty spots and press. The high temperature steam breaks down.
How many years of service, as if we meant it as a diss. Like, it's just like, I don't know, man. It's not my life. We're happy to correct it and just move on. And he's like, no, this is where I'm going to crush you. This shows you're a disinformation platform. You said 2, it was 3. It's a weird thing to be hung up about. And I always have a lot of patience with dealing with people who I just see right through. And that, to me, that whole act is just someone who likes to be in control, but hasn't even managed controlling his own emotions. The listening doctor writes, I am a medical doctor, and I will tell you that abused people abuse others. It is true. But murder and animal abuse is another level. This man is dangerous, and he is normalizing his behavior and making abused people look bad. That is a very good point. And that's kind of what I think I was trying to get at with him. I don't know if I was as eloquent as I could have been in saying that this is different. You're talking about like killing an animal and wearing an animal on your head. Like, that's not standard abuse. That's like Jeffrey Dahmer. Like when we like see somebody who has a trace for a serial killer, and so they usually say abused animals in their youth and then went on to become a serial killer when they were older.
Did I not just say that earlier? I do watch a lot of crime, and that animal abuse is number 1 up there.
Like that background, and everything about that. Like, I murdered a man when I was 7, and like I had to deal with that, and everything's fine now, and we don't know where the body is. Like, oh, so you didn't know where you lived? You drove around somewhere, you don't know where you were. As I said, I spoke to his direct relatives, and they said it's just not true. Like, that's just not something that wouldn't have come up. They were close to him, so I guess he says he has a sister not on his stepfather's side of the family who can confirm that they experienced abuse. I'm sure abuse has many names. There are people who think they're abused when somebody sends them a mean text message. We can be talking about verbal abuse, parents that shout and scream all the time. And then you're talking about this level, this rarely unlocked level of abuse, where you're saying you had to murder people before you were 7 and behead a cat and wear its head. And then said something about voodoo traditions, which I know nothing about. And I'm interested in how he knows. Well, he's spending some time in Haiti. Maybe. I'll have to figure it out. The listening doctor, I'm sorry, that was you. Sarah Bryan writes, conclusively, I pray for you, Candace. If I ever was lucky enough to have a daughter, I certainly would like her to be just like you, honest, loving, and caring about others. I know in my heart that you will find answers about Charlie. I worry about the fact that these are the people that Charlie surrounded himself with. I worry about the fact that Charlie was even prayed over by someone like Victor Marx. I don't find him to be, I said, many fantastical pastors that are around him, and none of them feel godly to me. They do all feel like they think they're gods in their own personal capacity, and that's what you kind of get. He's like, I read the Bible, so now I'm God. And I can do everything God can do. Didn't you see it's right here in the Bible? Don't you believe in the Bible? Well, I'm here to interpret it for you and tell you what I can do. That is someone that you should run from. And Charlie was immersed in this world from Turning Point USA Faith. Found him to be a little reticent to discuss much about, kind of leaving Erica out of the story. Charlie was already married to her. She was the one who was driving home Turning Point Faith. In fact, Charlie said as much on stage in Aspen, the notorious Aspen trip. Charlie said when he mentioned Turning Point USA Faith that like his wife does a lot of work for Turning Point USA Faith. That was her thing. And that would make sense as to why she was very close with Eileen Marks. Don't find any of this to be coincidental. He is exactly what I thought he would be. So what are we to make of his proximity to Turning Point USA?
Right.
If we can discern that after me talking to him for an hour, why can nobody at Turning Point USA pick up on that? Who's giving him an office? Who's telling him to pray over Charlie? Who's the person in Charlie's ear saying you can trust this guy? I think it's Erica. I think it was Erica who brought these people around and pushed Charlie to have relationships with them. That's my viewpoint. A lot of things changed when Erica came into the picture, and I would argue not for the better in terms of the faith department. Anyway, if you'd like to support our show and the work that we do, we have new merch available on the website, CandaceOwens.com. You can head there. It's the easiest way to support our show. Contrary to what he says, we are not funded by any political PACs or parties. As you guys know, we are exclusively funded by you and our advertisers. There's nobody else. There's no outside countries, and certainly no politicians that we're doing work for. We think you're weird for free. We think you're arrogant free, Victor. Anyway, we're way over time. We will see you guys tomorrow.